Hey everyone, welcome to Unlimited Vigilance. Today what we're doing is we're gonna go through how to go through a pre-release. So here in a few weeks we're gonna have a pre-release of Jump to Lightspeed for Star Wars Unlimited, the new set. The pre-release kit looks like this, if you haven't seen it, just in case. The pre-release kit is something that comes out before the actual release of the new sets, usually a week before. And with this, if you go to one of these events at your local store, you're given one of these pre-release kits. This one unopened is going for $40 almost on TCG Player, but you don't have to pay $40 because retail price is $29.99 for a pre-release kit. And what you get in a pre-release kit are six booster packs of the new set. And then you get in each booster pack you get 16 cards, but you also get a few tokens, and you also get new leaders in hyperspace version. And just to show you that I do have a pre-release kit here, but unfortunately not for the new set. I don't have access to be able to get anything early for Star Wars Unlimited. Maybe in the future, who knows. But however, I do have a pre-release kit from the previous release, which is Twilight of the Republic. So this is what you get as a pre-release kit. And you know, this video is mostly focused on new players who don't know what to expect when you go to a pre-release event, when you go to your store. And you know, I kind of want to show you what you get and what I do to kind of build a deck, because the idea is you go to this pre-release event, you get this kit, and you make a deck out of whatever cards you get from here, and then you have a little bit of a mini tournament, I guess you could say. And it can be a little bit intimidating because if you don't know what the set contains or you don't know what to do, what's cool about the pre-release kit, it gives you a quick start guide to kind of figure out what to do. So let's just open this one up. This is obviously not from Jump to Lightspeed. It's from Twilight of the Republic, the previous set. And as you can see, this regular retail $29.99, which is your standard price for a pre-release kit. You're gonna get, it's $5 a pack essentially. You're gonna get your 6 booster packs, and you're gonna basically build a deck with these packs, whatever you get from here. And then you'll also get a little storage box with a divider, and you'll get your leaders. In this set, in Twilight of the Republic, the leaders were Ahsoka and Grievous. And then the new set, if you look it up online, there's a lot of people that have released or have already previewed Jump to Lightspeed pre-release kits. But in this one, you'll get Ahsoka and General Grievous, the hyperspace versions, and then in the new set, you'll get Han Solo and Boba Fett. These leaders that you get, you'll be able to use them as leaders if you want to build a deck around them. So in the new set, it will be Han and Boba. If you want to do a deck around them based on the cards you get, then go ahead and do it. So you're going to get this building a pre-release deck. You're going to have, it says there, a minimum of 30 cards, right? You have your leader, your base, and your deck. So what's cool about this, that if you don't know anything about Star Wars and you're just starting, this little quick guide will help you to build a deck. I think you have an hour usually to build something. And then in the back you see card types, resource, and then obviously right there it says ask for advice. And that's definitely something I would recommend. If you don't know about something, just ask. A lot of people are very welcoming and open to helping a new player, because the more people we play with, the better. We want to keep this game going. And obviously, if you attend the pre-release and you don't have anything to count damage or initiative, you get tokens here. You can use these to track all your damage. So nice little helpful kit here for anybody who's new in Star Wars Unlimited. All right, so let's just open up these packs and kind of see what we get. Like I said, we already start off with 2 leaders, and then we see what we get, what kind of things we were able to pull. Now you have different ways you have a lot of options, right, when it comes to your deck building. But anyways, we have another leader here, Padme. So if you have an option there, Padme, then you have your base there. You decide, you know, at the end what base you want to do. And what I do usually is, like, whenever I start looking through my deck, I start separating by aspect. So it's something that will help you definitely decide what kind of deck you want to make. So we'll put the leaders to the side, and then we'll just start separating by aspect. So we have the 4 aspects. You got vigilance, cunning, aggression, your generic colorless aspect, right? So we just start separating. And obviously, if you're a new player, you're not gonna know a lot of these cards. You know, you're not gonna know what a lot of these cards do. But it's okay. You know, you have about an hour to kind of figure out what you want to do. And essentially, this is what I do here. Let me just show you real quick. We'll do a little zoom out here. So I start separating my, obviously, put my leaders and my base on one side. And I start separating my my aspects here: villainy, command, aggression, cunning, villainy. Again, sorry, did I say villainy here? Vigilance, heroism, and generic. The reason why I'm doing this is because, for example, if I want to play, let's just say I want to play Ahsoka Tano red, double red. Well, now these are the aspect colors that I could decide to use: red, right here, and heroism, these two. And then you have your generic colorless aspects which you can put in that deck. So that's going to help you kind of figure out, okay, what cards do I have in which side? Like, do I have more of vigilance, more of aggression, more yellow? You know, that can help also determine what kind of deck you'll make. Remember, you need 30 in the deck. So we have here Maul, another leader we can use. We have a red leader here, the Nest, or a red base. Then we have Royal Guard Attaché, encouraging leadership. Whoops. Aggression here. So we'll just start separating here based on the color, right? Obi-Wan, Bold Resistance, Wartime Profiteering, the Guerrilla Insurgency. And obviously it's cool to kind of see what rarities you get, right? So in this pack we got 2 rares, which is nice. For the Republic and a Guerrilla Insurgency. Alright, so right now we have 2 packs, and what we're seeing here is, you know, we got a good mix of cards here. We have Maul, we have Ahsoka, we have different options. So let's open up our next pack here. We have a Boba Fett, Grievous Lair, Strategic Acumen, that's Command, Reckless Torrent. Alright. And obviously when you attend a pre-release, when you start looking at the new cards, it's cool just spending time and reading what each one does, which is part of the excitement, right, with the new sets. It's kind of, oh, another one for the Republic. We got 2 of those. All right. And then we have Creative Thinking foil. So yeah, it's nice seeing the new cards and being able to kind of get ideas of what you want to do. So right now, based on what I see, you know, we pulled 2 for the Republics, which is a nice little clone support card. And we do have a lot of like heroism, blue heroism. So hopefully we'll get something with heroism. We could play probably Ahsoka blue, maybe with a blue base. And also, if I remember, you're not necessarily tied down to just the bases you get. If you want to use a blue base, you can. If you don't pull one, but chances are you might pull one. We got Dooku. There we go. We got Sandaria blue base. Strategic Acumen. All right, Holdo Blaster. Yeah, so this is usually my process here when it comes to a pre-release. This is what I like to do. I like to separate my aspects just to kind of get an idea of like what's what. We got 5s there. All right, we got 2 more packs. No legendaries yet. No legendaries. We got Obi-Wan. Okay, so now we have another option. We have Obi-Wan. Might be a good option for a leader. Pelta Frigate, Grenade Strike, Grievous Assembly. All right. just separate here all the cards. We have a rare Foresight, and we have a rare Roger Roger. 2 rares in that pack, which is nice. So based on my piles here, we're getting a lot of vigilance cards. A lot of vigilance cards. I think my next biggest pile here is my red pile, or maybe my cunning actually. Yeah, it's getting pretty close. But honestly, my vigilance pile is looking a little bit more like I'll have more options to build something with that. All right, last pack. See if we get anything, any legendaries. No legendaries. And what's cool about a pre-release is that, you know, you can still probably get a showcase, legendaries, as many as you can, right? Got Newt Gunray. Okay, we got Pike Palace. Another blue. All right. Oh, we got a hyperspace multi-troop transport. That's nice. Breaking in. Hellfire tank. Hello there. Anakin's interceptor. Independent senator. Another Roger Roger. The rare. And a Vanguard droid bomber. All right, so this pre-release had no legendaries, which is kind of sad, honestly. But looking at my piles, it seems like my cunning and my aggression and my vigilance piles are pretty big. Now, when it comes to leaders, now you have options, or you have a lot of options here. You have Obi-Wan, Newt, Count Dooku, Jango, Maul, Ahsoka, Grievous, and Padme. A lot of leaders. So now, based on this, I decide, okay, it seems like I have a lot of vigilance, a lot of cunning. What leader could kind of help me out here? Usually what I do also is I try to figure out the leader ability, because if you're dependent on things, for example, if you look at Padme, for example, she has Restore 1, which means you could heal for 1. But you also have a coordinate, which means that you depend on having 2 more units on the field to be able to do her ability, which is search the top 3 cards of your deck for a Republic card, reveal it, and draw it. So even though, you know, you might want to use Padme because of Restore, but you need Republic cards, you need coordinate, so you need things to be able to pull off that ability. On the other hand, if you have Newt Gunray, on attack you just create a battle droid token. So there's no dependencies. There's nothing that you need to be able to get something, a benefit. Also, it says here his action is if 2 or more friendly units were defeated this phase, create a battle droid. So, you know, it's something that you don't need to have on the field. Same with Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's ability is, you know, he's a sentinel, which can be helpful to defend. But his on attack is heal 1 damage from a unit if you do deal 1 damage to a different unit. So you need units to be damaged. And that might come often, it might not. You're dependent on something to be able to get that benefit. Dooku, you need Separatists. Do you have enough Separatists in the cards that you just pulled? Do you have enough Separatists to be able to give exploit 3 to them? Enough Separatists to even pull off an exploit, for example. If you're a new player, all these terms, you know, they'll explain them in the quick sheet guide, or somebody can explain them to you also, whoever's playing. We have Jango Fett, which is probably a good option here, because with him, when a friendly unit deals damage to an enemy unit, you may exhaust this leader. If you do, exhaust an enemy unit. So basically, whenever you attack, a friendly unit deals damage to an enemy unit, you exhaust them with his ability. So you don't need anything, it just happens. Maul has Overwhelm. You know, this is an ability that's probably dependent on maybe exploiting or bigger units. So these are some of the things you have to kind of look out for when it comes to a leader and deciding what you want to use. If you're dependent on something, and if you have enough of those items to be able to pull off the on attack ability or when played ability. So in this case, for example, I was looking at probably maybe Jango Blue. If not, if I have enough Separatists, maybe, I don't know, maybe Newt Gunray might be an option. You know, it depends. Maybe blue, yellow. So once you start looking through your leaders and you decide, okay, maybe I'll use those two, let's see what we got. So we have a lot of aspects here, and then once I decide, okay, let's just go blue, what I start doing is I start separating even more. We'll start separating by the mono colors, and then colors or blue heroism, for example. We'll start separating those to see what we have here, because villainy and heroism will matter. So once we start separating everything, so we see here in our vigilance piles, sorry about the glare, based on our villainy, we have 2 cards that are vigilance villainy, and then we have a lot of cards that are vigilance heroism. So you have a lot of options here with these cards. And then you have a bunch of mono blue, right, that you can use both in villainy and in heroism. So once you start deciding, okay, I have probably, maybe we could probably use Obi-Wan. We could probably use Obi-Wan, because I'm like thinking, okay, I have here a lot of cards that can help with Obi-Wan. For example, we got Hello there, right, which is a nice little removal. We have also for the Republic, if we control 3 or more Republic, come on, focus, 3 or more Republic units, this upgrade costs 2 less, and then everyone gets restore. Do we have enough Republics? Well, we have this Jedi here. We have Obi-Wan's Aether Spray. We have the Outspoken Representative, and we have 2 of those Jedis actually. So that can come in pretty nice. This Kashyyyk Defender we can use as an opener for a our first drop, right? Our first hand. Same with this one. The Outspoken Representative, when defeated, you create a clone trooper, so you're able to probably get that coordinate that you need. You know, and this rare could be pretty helpful. I mean, if you have a lot of Republic units out there, it might be helpful. So let's just say we're going with Obi-Wan. Now let's look at our mono blue here. We have the Royal Guard Attaché. When played, deal 2 damage to a unit, which should be a good option because you can heal him. Sorry, that's probably loud. You could heal the Royal Guard Attaché. Daughter of Dathomir, probably not. We got a 1-drop here with the Warrior Drone. So you also have to think about that, like what 1-drops you have for not 1-drops, but things you could bring out on your first turn. You might want some of those, definitely want those options at the beginning. We have 2 Guarding of the Way, which means it gives a Sentinel to a unit. This could be good just because you can give Sentinel, let's say for example, to the Knight of the Republic, and make people attack him. When this unit is attacked, create a clone trooper. So there you go. Now you have a way to kind of make people attack him to create clone troopers. So that might be a good option. Put that here. Roger. Attach this upgrade to a friendly battle droid token. Most likely, if we're going to play Obi-Wan, we're not going to make battle droids. Foresight. Yeah, we want Padawan Starfighter, for example. Here's a Republic tank, might be a good option. So we have a few options already in this deck. Now I was thinking maybe Newt or Django, because obviously you're just creating battle droid tokens, and this you're exhausting. So these can be good options as well. We'll look through our cunning pile here in a little bit, but for right now, if we're looking at Obi-Wan, we have a good number of cards here to build an Obi-Wan deck. A lot of support cards and a lot of ways to kind of use Obi-Wan's ability to heal someone. For example, we have a Royal Guard Attaché we can heal, or our Knights of the Republic as well. You know, we can heal him because he has 7 hit points, so he has a lot of damage control. So you can heal him if you need to. All right, so now we have, let's just say we're doing Obi-Wan. We already looked through our vigilance pile. We could also look through our heroism pile, which were these cards here that we got, and we can use all of these if you want. This heroes on both sides might be an option that you might not use, just because you have to give a separatist unit a buff as well, but still you give a Republic unit a buff, so you already have 3 more options here for your deck. So let's just put all 4. Why not? Now we have to decide base. The base can be one of those things where you're deciding, okay, do I want to be aggressive? Do I want to be cunning, like planning for the future type thing? I mean, command. You have your vigilance, or you have your cunning, you know, doing tricks. With Obi-Wan, maybe we can kind of look through our, I don't know if Obi-Wan is an aggressive player. He might be more of a defensive player, kind of building up towards something, you know, powerful at the end, maybe. But a good idea is to kind of look through your other piles to see like what other cards could be used to help your Obi-Wan. So for example, we got a resupply here that's generic green that could be useful for building up something, ramping, right? You have a bunch of separatist card here. This is Nameless Valor. Here's an upgrade. Attach you negates overwhelm, so you can give somebody a buff, right? Maybe that could be an option. Then you have another Republic unit. When played, create a clone trooper if you have the coordinate. That could be an option, right? Separatist. You have two of those. I think that might be a good option. You have a separatist card here. You got a few upgrades here. Strategic acumen. Play a unit from your hand, it costs one less, and it has a defense, maybe. Encouraging leadership. Each friendly unit gains +1/+1 for this phase. Why not? You have a separatist here, and you have a take captive, which can be pretty powerful if you're capturing something under Obi-Wan, for example. All right, so now let's just say we're going green, and you know, this is the things you're going to have to look for when you're building your deck. What other options do I have? So I have some pretty good options here for green. Let's go with yellow. We were looking through a yellow pile, and we have a separatist here. We have this breaking in. Attached unit gains +2 plus saboteur. Maybe political pressure is good. You make someone discard a card, or you create 2 battle droids. If you're doing Obi-Wan, obviously you don't want battle droids, you want clones. Here's a Republic ship here. So we have one option, possibly. Separatist card, we have 5s. He's a Republic as well. Saboteur. When you play an event, you may put a clone unit from your discard pile on the bottom of your deck. So there's an option there. Another Separatist. Here's another one, Creative Thinking. Exhaust a non-unique unit. Create a clone trooper. Why not? Separatist for droids. So what I'm looking here is that this yellow deck has a lot of villainy and droids and separatist. This might be, here's another Republic. That could be an option. Unnatural Life. Play a unit that was defeated this phase. So we have R2, another Republic. So we have a few Republic cards here. So you can go yellow. I think green had a few more options, but maybe yellow might be the ones that interest you more. That's the thing with building a deck. You have to kind of just take a chance, figure it out, see what you want to do, and then, you know, if you have red, obviously you're going to have Republic cards here as well. You have Batch Brothers, you have low altitude gunship. So the point is, once you choose your leader that you want to use, right, you go through those 2 aspects first, figure out what cards you can use in those 2 aspects, or in those aspects that you have here with your leader. Then decide what type of gameplay you want to have. Do you want to have an aggressive gameplay? Do you want to have more of a command, you know, planning type of gameplay? Vigilance, which is more control, if you have enough control to kind of remove stuff from your opponent. Or cunning, you know, pulling tricks and, you know, little things that people don't expect. So yeah, I mean, that's one of the things about pre-release that makes it exciting, is that you have to figure out what type of way you want to play. And there's no wrong way to do this. You know, obviously, it's a trial and error. Everybody who's going into a pre-release is their first time trying a deck, so there shouldn't be any kind of intimidation. You shouldn't feel intimidated, because everybody is in a similar playing field trying to figure out how to play a deck, and then you just try it out. You know, in this case, I would probably do, for example, I would do Obi-Wan green. I would do Obi-Wan green because not only do you have all these options with your blue, you know, and you have your heroism cards as well. Then you take your green cards, and you already have a bunch of cards here that you can use. And then not only that, you can even use your aspect less cards. Maybe not the separatist, but you have here a trooper, and a holdout blaster. So let's say this is our deck. How many cards do we have? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 15, 16, 27. So with this we have 27 cards. We need 3 more to make a 30 card deck. Now we can kind of look through our blue pile to see if there's anything that we can maybe use. We could probably use Foresight, right? That's kind of like a generic rare. It's only got 1 cost, which is not bad. So that's 28. Was it 28 or 29? I forgot. And then we can maybe do Grievous Reassembly, heal 3 damage from a unit, create a battle droid. Just because you're Obi-Wan doesn't mean you can't create battle droids. So there's another option. And then let's just say we could use a Daughter of Dathomir. Why not? Daughter of Dathomir, she's a 3/5, she has Restore. There's nothing wrong with having a little bit of help restoring. So now let's say we have added a few more cards. How many do we have in our deck? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we have 30 now. 30 cards. So after you decide what leader you want to use, what base you're going to use. So in this case, we're going to be defending, let's do Tapoka City and Camino. Obi-Wan was there. We use Obi-Wan. All right. So like I told you before, you know, the heal we might not use that often. We might use it. I mean, but the good thing, something I like about Obi-Wan is that he's Sentinel. So he'll defend me for a little bit, you know, while he's out. So either way, his action as well, you could heal a unit if you need to. So that's one I chose. Now the next step I do in the deck building process is I look through my piles or my deck and I separate by cost. So let's just separate by cost. Alright, so here are my units by cost. I do have one off screen here, which is the ATTE Vanguard. So the reason why I do this is because I want to see like where my curve is. If I have enough cards here to be able to play on the first few rounds, which is important. So on our first round, we'll have 2 resources to pay for any of these cards here. Now, what you want to obviously pay or pay for are units. So in my first pile here with 1 cost cards, I have 1 unit that I can play, a warrior drone, and the rest are just events or upgrades. All right, so I have 1 there. Let's look through our 2 cost pile. We have the Kashyyyk Defender, Outspoken Representative, Royal Guard Attaché. Then we have an event, Padawan Starfighter, another event. So we have 5 cards to be able to put out as a unit on our first turn. In a 30 card deck, that might be a little low. It might be a little low. I would probably recommend a little bit more units or other units if you can put out more units that are 2 costs. Sometimes you have to put out an aggrieved parliamentarian. You know, because it's a 2-drop. At least you'll have another unit out there to put on turn 1. That might be an option here, so I think I might have to put that in there just to kind of help out to put a unit out on the first turn. All right. Now obviously other cards like this one here that costs 2, it won't cost you 2, it'll cost you 4 just because it's out of aspect. You won't be able to use any of those. All right, so we have those that could possibly come out in round 1. If you don't get one of those cards on the first try, you can mulligan 1 time. And then on turn 3 we have those are events. We have 2 units here. We could put a resupply. We could do a take captive. Okay, so here on turn 3, depending if you have initiative, your options start getting a little bit better, right? You have a few more units you can play, and you have 3 events you could play. So obviously the more resources you get, the better chances you are of playing a card. Now what we have to think about is, okay, for turn 1, do I have something to play? Now you have to think about the end game. The middle of the game, yes, you're going to have, for example, all these 3 card units you can play. Daughter Dathomir costs 4. Obi-Wan's Aether Sprite, then the Pelta Supply Frigate are 5 cost units. hopefully you'll have units out that can create these clone troopers. And then on turn 6, which is round 5, on turn 5 you have options here for the Knight of the Republic. Right, but you also have to think about the late game. So some of these units some of these units, like for example these, are some of the units you want to keep for your late game, the ones that cost a little bit more, because these will help you either restore but also have Sentinel. Now sometimes it might be worth it. For example, if you need something bigger in the late game, you could add something else. A Republic attack pod, for example. This costs 6, but it is something that will cost you 8 because you don't have the yellow aspect. 8 is the same price as this, which might be like, okay, I need something late game, this might be worth it. But what's interesting about this one is, for example, you have to read the text and kind of figure that out. If you control 3 or more units, this costs 1 less, so instead of 8 it can cost you 7. So this might be a good option to kind of put in your deck as well, and I would definitely include that as an option for a late game, just because having units that can attack for 6 or you know, and defend for 7-9, you want those late game units to kind of help out. So these are definitely good options to have in your deck. Yeah, and that's kind of the things you have to think about, and this is what I do when I prepare for a pre-release event. And then after that, it's have fun, try your best to win, and if obviously it didn't work out, at least you tried it out and you could try something else the next time. But yeah, and then you have, I think, 3 rounds, sometimes best of 1, best of 3, depending on the store. I like best of 1 just to kind of test it out and be done with it, because if you're getting wrecked a bunch, it's no fun if you're having that type of time. But anyways, this is what I do during a pre-release. Hopefully this was kind of helpful for you. Jump to Lightspeed is all about air units, space, so you're going to have a lot of space units and not necessarily ground units, so you'll have a lot of upgrades like pilots as well, something you're going to have to think about, and most likely you'll have to kind of just read through the cards and figure what kind of synergies you can do. But anyways, I hope you found this information helpful, and hopefully everybody's events goes good, and if you're new, hopefully you're able to have some fun as well. And yeah, keep on going forward, and I appreciate everybody staying to the end. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. Until the next one.